For Heart Rally. I want to encourage you guys, really don't come alone. This is an event that's created for your friends who maybe don't usually come to church, so it's going to be an awesome time. I need y'all to do this. I need you to tell somebody right now, tonight's going to be special. Tonight's going to be special. Tonight's going to be special, man. If you don't know this, we love teenagers. Who said boo? Like, bro, you're literally a teenager. Okay, chill. We love teenagers in here. Not only do we love the next generation, but we believe that, Jordan talked about it last week, but we don't believe that you're just the next generation. We believe you're the now generation. We believe that God has given every single one of you guys gifts and abilities. So one thing that we did this summer is we did student internships. And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, you got to apply next year because student internships this summer were nuts. Am I right? It was special. It was awesome. And so tonight, what we're going to do is this. Rather than someone on the youth staff preaching a word to you, we have 5 words being brought to you tonight in one service. So what we're going to do is this. We've got 5 of our student interns coming up to preach, and we're going to go one at a time, and each message is going to be different. So I need you to lean in, get off Snapchat, open up YouVersion in your notes, okay? And you're going to want to take notes. It's going to be powerful. So what I want to do is this. I want to invite up our first speaker tonight. Are y'all ready? I don't think y'all are ready. I said, are you ready? Okay. Up first to the Heart Youth stage, we're going to stand and honor and welcome Miss Emily.
Love you guys too. Who's excited to be in church today? Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the point. Let's go to John 21. Yes, just diving in. The water's nice and warm. It's okay. Okay, so is everyone there? Better be. 21. John 21. Okay, we'll start in verse 2. Basically, Simon, Peter, Thomas, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were there. 3 says, I'm going out to fish, Simon Peter told them. And they said, we'll go with you. So they went out and got on the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in that morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that he was Jesus. He called out to them, friends, have you caught anything? They said, no. He said, throw your net on the other side of the boat and you will find some. Then they did. They were unable to haul the net because the large number of fish. So basically, they had gone out fishing. That whole night they were fishing, didn't catch anything. The next day, nothing. Jesus was kind of just watching them, right? And they were just struggling, whatever. So usually, who likes to go fishing? Anyone? No? No? Y'all that didn't raise up your hands, lame. No. We're not friends. We're not friends. Sorry. Just saying. Okay, so basically, when we go fishing, we ask the other people, like, hey, have you, like, caught anything? And, like, usually the answer is, like, oh, no, it's fine, like, whatever. And so fishermen usually don't give other fishermen advice. They hate it, basically being called a bad fisherman. And that's sad. So basically, God is kind of like, fishing is very much waiting and waiting and waiting, right? Our prayers can be kind of like that too. We pray something and all of a sudden we're just like having to pray it over and over and just having to watch what he does and if he like even answers or listens or any of that. He does listen. The only thing is he waits for a perfect timing in everything. Because what we might ask for is not what he wants to give us, and what he would want to give us is probably so much more than what we had been praying for that time and had continued to be praying for. There was actually one of these instances and that I just like was so confused why he wasn't like answering it and why I continued to pray that prayer. But in reality, I like saw it like unfold. And I like realized that like 2 months ago, I had actually been giving this word. Like 2 months ago, I was fishing actually, Woods Canyon. It was great. But it was insane because I was actually fishing with what is now called my family. I had been praying just for this like family. I just wanted to be normal. I wanted to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm going home to my mom, my dad, even if that was like having to give up coming to church every weekend, having to go to the same school, give up my friends, give up like my whole life just to be in that family. But what God did is he provided me that family, but not only did he provide me that, he gave me a loving Christian home that is allowing me to grow in my faith and growing with me and allowing me to still come to church. I didn't have to give up anything. If anything, they're giving me so much more than what I could have asked for ever in life. It's just amazing how like God is just having you wait, and in that waiting, you're like getting impatient, but then he just has you like carry in so much. That is just like so like incredible watching him like having to like put everything basically at your feet because it's just so heavy. Like I remember like realizing that and being like, oh my gosh, it's right there. Like, why am I not praising him and giving him thank you because of what he has given me? Because he has literally given me the world, and I just like realized it in that very moment. And in that moment, I was just so happy. I stopped fishing. I like got out my notebook that I had, and I just started writing. I was like basically in tears. I was like, what the heck? I shared it to them, and they were like, oh my gosh, like that's so powerful, like giving me pointers and all of that. That day was just like insane. Like I remember it was like, I literally still picture it today. I was just looking out into the trees, the water, green water, gross, but it was okay. It was just insane what he was doing within my heart in that very moment. It was amazing, and I literally cannot like thank him enough. Honestly, continuing to pray those prayers and staying faithful is like the best thing you could ever do. And that's the only thing God wants, for you to stay faithful to him, because he will do it. Just wait and see. It's beautiful. With that being said, I will invite up a very important person, actually. He is the Heart Youth drummer, Gabe Denny. Where are you?
Dude. I love your picture. What a picture. Oh my goodness. Dude. I love that picture. Yeah, I do too. I didn't know they were going to use that one, if I'm being honest. Yeah. There we go. That's the cute picture, you know. Can't do me like that. Anyways, how's it going, Heart Youth? So good? That's sick. Well, sorry, my notes are being weird. It's okay. So those of you who don't really know me, my name's Gabe. Hi. Sick. Nice. I love you too. Anyways, I'm here. I'm going to be talking just to you guys, you know, just giving you a little word real quick. So the cool thing about me is, like, I've moved a lot in my life. Arizona's not my only home. I used to live in Texas for, like, 10 years, you know, get that yee. But with moving, or when I was living in Texas, my dad decided it'd be cool to, like, move all the time. And so he would move from, like, house to house to house. But the cool thing about that means I get, like, a lot of cool stories. So I'm actually going to talk about one of those stories today. Open it up, you know. I wasn't that young. I was, like, 4th grade. We just moved in this house. Everything was packed up, and I was looking for like scissors to open up this package, and everything was packed up, so I couldn't find them. But the only thing I could find was like this really nice knife set from the kitchen, and so I whipped out this knife. I was like, oh, I'm gonna open it. It's gonna be sick. It in fact wasn't. I go to open it, and the knife worked a little too well. I not only sliced the package, but I also like sliced my thumb. Pretty gnarly. I was bleeding everywhere. I was screaming, I don't know what to do. And then my dad comes out. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm just bleeding. And so he took me to the emergency room. And as we're waiting, we finally get to talk to the doctor. And he looks at me. He goes, you're going to have stitches. And I was like, actually, no. I don't want stitches. He's like, well, it's kind of the only thing you can do because otherwise the wound's not going to heal. I was like, but stitches hurt. He's like, dog, your thumb's about to fall off. I think you want stitches. And I was like, I don't know. You know, stitches hurt really bad. Basically, what stitches are is you just like cut more holes around the wound and then like tie it together. It's kind of gnarly. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly. And so I was arguing with this doctor, and I ended up finally getting stitches. And it kind of reminds me of a story in John 5 about this paralyzed dude who's like chilling by this pool. Because the pool in this time, if you were like lame or you couldn't see, you would wait by this pool, and an angel would like come down and like spark the pool, and then the first one to get in would be healed. And so this dude's just chilling by the pool. He's been there for like 38 years, just chilling. And all of a sudden, Jesus walks by, and he's like, hey, bro, you want to be healed? And he starts giving these excuses. He's like, well, you know, I can't be healed because every time the pool gets touched by the angel, like, I can't get in, you know, I can't walk. And he says, do you want to be healed? And so I think a lot of times we push away healing because we don't like how it's going to look. We push away what God's calling us to be healed, but then we're mad when we don't get healed. God, why haven't you healed me from this relationship? Why haven't you healed me from this trouble with my parents? And God's saying, I'm gonna heal you, but it might require stitches. You might have to cut around the wound. We might have to dig a little deeper and get into the root of the problem, because healing's not just surface level. It's something deeper. And so when we tell God, like, I don't want to be healed, and then like we go to the world for healing, and we go to drugs for healing, and we go to girl or guy to guy for healing, and then we wonder why like we get hurt more, because we're just letting the wound fester, and it's getting infected, and it's not changing. We're not being healed. We're not like getting any better. If anything, we're just making it worse. And so the cool part about this story is God tells the man, pick up your mat and walk. And what he does is he picks up his mat and walks, and he's instantly healed. As soon as you follow the way God's telling you to be healed, God will heal you. And it might not be in the way you want. You might not lose 40 pounds overnight, but God's going to heal you from that body dysmorphia, and God's going to work in your life getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is not how you look, it's how you see yourself. Yes. And so God's going to get into that root of the problem. Maybe you have a broken relationship with your parents. God's not just going to heal it overnight. He's going to stitch up that wound, and over time, it's just going to heal. Over time, and it's going to suck sometimes. Wounds aren't fun to heal. You know, have you ever heard the saying, it hurts before it gets better? It's because it does. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you have to go to that person and say, I'm sorry, I messed up. Or sometimes you have to go to that person even when they messed up, and you have to say, I want to fix this. Because sometimes it's not you. Sometimes you didn't cut yourself. Sometimes you got cut. But you still have to heal either way. You can't just sit in the healing. You just can't sit in the problem and just let it fester. And so I think tonight, I just really feel like there's some people in here that have mats, that have things that they're asking God to heal, but when it comes to the reality of it, they're scared to actually be healed. And so if that's you, I just want to encourage you that you can be healed. It might be scary at first. You might have to pick up a mat and walk, even though you haven't walked for 38 years. But God will heal you. And so, yeah, that's kind of my message. Yeah. So I'm actually going to invite up someone who's like way cooler than me. Her name is Elizabeth, and she's like the coolest person ever. So let's go.
Way cooler. Oh, yeah, man. Let's go, girl. Love you, Sydney. Hey, Sydney. Okay, so, what? Thanks. I got told I looked like a tree earlier, so, a tree? You know what? Yeah, exactly. Trees are good for the environment, so, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about identity, and yeah. Okay, so I was a swimmer. I don't know if you could tell, but I had a 5th place ribbon. There was probably like 6 girls in the race. It's okay. But yeah, so a win is a win. And so even though I got 5th place, I was holding it like I was holding a 1st place ribbon. So we're gonna open up to, what is it? 1 John 4:4, and it says, "You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." So I actually found my 5th place ribbon. So this is it. Yeah. And then I have my 1st place ribbon. Yeah. And so I also feel like going into the school year, you might fall into peer pressure, or wanting to be somebody else, or wanting to be the girl in the front of the class, or wanting to be whoever. And so school has a big impact on you. And people in our society love zodiac signs. And zodiac signs don't really say who you are. God says who you are. And so I have another verse. Let me find it. I have Romans 10:9-10, and it says, "If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved." And so your identity isn't what month you were born in. It's not what time the moon was set. It's not where the stars are. It's in God. Yeah. And so basically, how I was like thinking about this earlier, because I had a completely different message, but then I just got a word from God during worship at junior high. And so picture it like you're at a grocery store or at a different store, and any store, and then you're thinking, well, this brand is cheaper, but it's the same thing, so I'm gonna get it. But it really doesn't last you that long. But if you get the better quality and you pay a little 50 cents more, then you're gonna get something that lasts you forever. And so the thing that you could be paying for that's a little bit cheaper could be your friends, or your vape, or your star sign. But you have God, who's at a higher value, and he already knows who you are. And I have in my notes, it's like, who likes Nutella in here? Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like getting like the chocolate spread instead of the Nutella. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a small little jar compared to the big Nutella one. And so, going along with that, if you're not following Jesus, you're following a man-made idol. And that's what a zodiac sign is, or a star sign is. And so, moving on from that, I'm going to be talking about self-image. And so, as a swimmer, I had a really hard time with being myself, or like even like looking at myself and being like, wow, I'm not like skinny like those other girls, or I'm not as fast as the other girls. But you're God's masterpiece. God already made you, so you don't get to label yourself because you didn't make yourself. And so I have Ephesians 2:10, and it says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us around anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things he has planned for us long ago." So I have, God already says you are fill in the blank. God already says you are beautiful. God already says you are loved. God already says you are worthy, and so on. And yeah, so that's basically it. And so I'm going to invite up somebody else who has a lot of wisdom, and I've known him since second grade, actually. And that is Josh Fields.
I know. I'm aware. I'm aware of the picture, bro. It's not there, man. You can read. Okay. Hey, y'all. Last time I did this was my first time like speaking ever. Like, and now I'm here today, and I have so much experience. I lied. No, I didn't. But today we're going to be in Philippians 4:9. We don't got to get there yet. I want to talk to y'all first. A lot of us in this room has just been like, we've gone through something that made us sad, depressed, angry. Like, right? Like, am I the only one? No? Okay. Well, if you don't agree, you're lying because school's starting up, and I know you're stressed. I mean, like, it just leaves us sad and depressed, and we struggle to find something that we call peace. And what is peace to you? What is peace to you? My definition of peace is God. That's where I find my peace at. And sometimes when we get in that state of mind, we tend to wonder where God's at. Like, God, where you at? Like, I'm struggling. I'm back in that same sin. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm just stuck. I don't know where you're at. And sometimes, it's really good to have that prayer. But sometimes it's important to include God in our successes, not only our failures. He wants all of our life, not just part of it. All of our heart, not just part of it. Like, come on now. What do I mean by that? He wants to be a part of your whole life. He wants to be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of success, because that's all he wants for you. All he wants for you is success. He wants the best for you. His desires, his lowest thought about you is greater than your highest thought about yourself. He doesn't meet your expectations, he blows them out the water. Let's just settle that now. And God knows everything. Like, you don't need to tell him what you need because he knows everything. But how can he give you everything that you need if you don't give him all of it, right? And when we go through these trials and tribulations, this is something like we call faith tests. He likes to give us tests. He loves to do that. And it sucks because I fail every time. I fail it because sometimes I'm not prepared. And he tests that even through the struggle and the pain, that you just trust in him and that you remain faithful. Now, it says in Philippians 4:9, keep putting into practice all you've learned and received from me. Everything you've heard from me and saw me doing, then the God of peace will be with you. Newsflash, you practice the way you play. I'm going to say that again. I think that flew over your head. You practice the way you play. What it's saying is keep putting into practice all you've learned and received from me. If you practice bad habits, that will carry over to life and into your struggle. It's not going to help you. If you practice bad habits, you're just going to struggle more. It's the sad truth, but it happens. And I remember I was so stuck. Like, I was that person. I was that person who cried out to God. I was like, God, I'm stuck. I'm in the same sin again. I feel like I'm disappointing you. So God, would you just give me peace? Amen. And I would just wait and not do anything. I would idle. When the light's green, you gotta go. When the light's green, you gotta go. You can't idle. He's giving you the green light. So go. Press that gas pedal. And I sat there and I thought God would just give it to me. And every time he reached his hand out to give me peace, it was uncomfortable for me because I got so used to living a life of sin. I got so used to living a life of this world, and I bit the hand that fed me. He was giving me peace this entire time, but it was uncomfortable because I was used to living an uncomfortable life. And sometimes that's what you got to do to find peace. Peace is uncomfortable. because struggle doesn't come from a comfortable place. God wants you to find the roots of your struggle and give it to him. So sometimes I may be comfortable in the light right here, but I gotta step out. I gotta find the root because it's not comfortable. Maybe I'm comfortable right here. I'm comfortable in these clothes, but maybe so my challenge for you guys is whenever you feel like you don't have peace and you're struggling and you're just depressed, I challenge you to call upon the Lord at all times, not only in your failure, but in your success. Thank him for your success and thank him for your failures. Because when you try outside of what your body can handle, it comes with failure. But if you don't fail, you have not triumphed in trying. Let's not try to win. Let's not try to go to the gym and look like this in 3 weeks. Let's just try. Let's just try to go to the gym 3 days a week. 3 days a week. Let's not try to look like this. Let's not compare to other people what they look like. I struggle with that too. It's all right. And for a lot of us, being uncomfortable looks like opening up and being vulnerable. And I understand that because that was a big struggle for me too. I was not that type of guy. I was not that type of guy to open up to people. I stayed to myself. But thank God we have wonderful leaders here that are here for you, and they want the best for you, and they want the best for your relationship with God. So that is my message. That is my message today. But I have someone so special for you guys. I gotta make this intro so cool. Coming in the blue corner, using the Bible as her weapon and Lord as a refuge, it's Rabbi Robbie.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot. So I might be super nervous to speak this. I know you guys hear me talk all the time, but this message means a lot to me because I'm still experiencing this right now. So if I get nervous, forgive me. But recently, my mom's reminded me of this person in the Bible named Job. And if you know Job, you're like, girl, why are you comparing your mom to Job? That's most depressing story in the Bible. And if you don't know Job, let me give you a quick rundown. But I urge you to read the book of Job. It's amazing. But basically, Job was this guy from this city called Uz. I hope I pronounced it right. And he basically was blessed, super blessed. He had a lot of money. He had a huge family. He had a lot of livestock. He had everything you could want at that time. And he thanked God for it. And Satan sees this, and he goes to God, and he's like, yo, I don't think Job would praise you if he wasn't blessed. And God's like, I know Job better than you, but whatever. And Satan's like, if you allow me to take away his blessings, he'll curse you, not praise you. And so God's like, okay, you can't kill him, but I'll let you challenge him. And so Satan does. One day, Job finds out that not only all 10 of his children, but all of his livestock and all of his livestock and all of his servants died. All in the same day. And I'm like, excuse me, what? What are you talking about? How could Job respond to that? This faithful man, all of his, the things he loved were taken away, his children. I'm going to be honest with you, I was angry for Job. I was mad for Job. I was like, I'm mad on your behalf. And I was like, I don't know how you would respond to that. And this is how he responded in Job 1, verses 20 through 21. Then Job arose and tore his robe and shaved his head and fell on the ground and worshipped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. He continued to praise, even though everything in his life was taken away. And I'm just going to use that part of his story, but it's such a powerful story. And the reason it connects to my life and my mother's life is, I was on this camp high, and I was feeling great, and I was... life was good for me. And the day after kids camp, my mom informs me that she had some blood tests taken, and there was a chance that she might have cancer. And I remember just breaking down in the car, thinking about losing my mom, thinking about what happens to me and my sister. It was the worst day of my life. My entire summer felt ruined. All the faith that I had just literally built was gone.
I felt like the anxiety was coming back. I felt like that shame, that anger, like all those feelings I had were coming back. And I go to the Maverick City concert a week later, like out of faith. And one of the singers, she's like, somebody in this room has fear, and you need to let that fear bow down to God. And I was like, that's for me, but I'm not going to do anything with it because I don't really want to, so I'm just going to ignore that. And then another week goes by, and I'm listening to this song that my leader showed me. And the singer goes, your worship needs to be louder than your worry. And I looked to my mom. Something about my mom, we're like about the same height. We're both like really short people, but she's got this like ball of energy to her. And she has this huge closet, and she'll pray in there for hours. Like, I'll knock on her door and be like, hey, Mom, like, I need to talk to you. She's like, let me pray. 7 hours will go by, and this woman's still praying. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I asked her, I looked to her, and I was like, do you continue to pray after you found out that you might have cancer? And she looked at me, and she's confused, and she's like, Robbie, I prayed every day before I found out that I might be sick, and I've prayed every day since I found out that I might be sick. Nothing's changed, and nothing will change. And that's when God showed me that I'm not the one that might be sick. I'm not the one that's lost something. My mom is the one that's struggling, but she has more faith than I've ever had. She allowed her worship to be louder than her worry. And the thing is, did Job probably feel very sad and hurt, and was he grieving? Is my mom scared? 1,000%. But they never allowed their emotions to outweigh their faith, because they know at the end of the day that God's gonna move, that God protects them. Because the thing is, you might be thinking of the story of Job, you might be like, why would God allow that? Thing is, the reason Job didn't die is because God wouldn't let him die. God had the final say in Job's story, and he has the final say in all of our stories. And he's gonna provide for us, and he's gonna protect us against Satan's attacks. And I'm asking you today, are you allowing your emotions to outweigh your faith? When you're struggling, are you cursing God or are you praising God? And do you trust in God's plan or do you trust in your plan? Because at the end, the thing is, the 21st, my mom's gonna go to that doctor's appointment, and they're gonna tell her whether or not she has cancer, and if she does, how long she has to live. And no matter what the doctors say, my mom's gonna come home. She's gonna walk in her closet, and she's gonna pray for however long she feels she needs to, no matter what they say, because she knows that no diagnosis, no doctor, no person, not even the enemy, has the final say in her story. She knows that God has the final say in her story, and I want you to know that Satan does not have the final say in your story, that you're not finished with, that he's not done with you, and your story's not over, and God has the final say, and he loves you more than anybody else will. And that's all you need to have faith. That's all you need. So I just wanted to share that word with you. I'm going to pray for you guys, and you can come up. Let me move this thing. Hold on. I got this. Look at me. I almost tripped. That's okay. You guys can come up to the front. Come up to the front, get close and comfortable. We don't bite, I promise. I'm just gonna pray over you guys in this moment, okay? God, I thank you for every single person in this room, Lord. I thank you that they walked in here no matter what they were struggling with, Lord. I pray that one of the messages connected to them and they feel bold enough to speak out to their leaders. Lord, I pray that they walk out of here differently, Lord. I pray that they walk out of here knowing that they're loved and they're seen and they're heard, not just by the entire Heart Youth family, but by God. Lord, I pray that they know that you have the final say and that you are powerful.